hiding the costs and sugarcoating the sacrifices. Politicians find it much more easier to talk just about the positive and to just forget about the negative. Reversing climate change will create green jobs. Tax cuts spur the economy. Trickle down economics. Everybody wins when everybody is covered by health insurance. Putting the American military to work in the Middle East could bring democracy to the region, and supposedly American security in its wake. That's what we're told, and that's what we're sold. Then comes the bill. Yes, the bill is coming due. Quickly. Attacking climate change may create some jobs, but weaning industry, the nation, and individuals off of fossil fuels is sure to strain overall economic growth. Cutting taxes tends to add to the deficit, perhaps begetting higher taxes later on. Providing health care to more than 46 million uninsured Americans will cost real money, a lot of money. Politicians prefer not to talk about all the pesky sacrifices that are needed to give bold action a chance to succeed. This is a country where prosperity has been the norm, an era when technology has made so many things so much easier. Is it no wonder that Americans, shocked already by a year of economic uncertainties, aren't eager for more sacrifices? More over less. Political leaders never want to talk about the negative trade-offs, but the reality is there aren't any easy, quick answers to all our big problems, said Cindy Williams, a defense budget economist at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Our leaders are, after all, playing to their audience. Don't we all want more over less? And wouldn't it be swell if somebody else picked up the tab? There's a selfishness in the land, said Alan Simpson, a former U.S. Senator from Wyoming. In my 18 years in the Senate, I never heard anyone come in and ask for less. Not once. We are a torn nation. Polls tend to show that 2 in 3 Americans think the government ought to take care of those who can't fend for themselves or take care of themselves. Yet according to a Pew Center poll, 2/3 of us believe many people today think they can get ahead without working hard and making sacrifices. The same way a car salesman prefers to talk about leather seats rather than how you will have to cut back on restaurants to pay for a new ride. Politicians are shy about bringing up the cost of such things. Benefits are just so much more, appealing. Always stressing the positive, but never really wanting to talk about the negative. Politicians think people want to hear something that sounds painless. They have experience on their side. Running for president in 1984, Walter Mondale promised to raise taxes, and lost. In his presidency, Jimmy Carter told Americans to turn down their thermostats, and with the help of the Iran hostage crisis, was not re-elected in 1980. Running for president as an independent in 1992 and 1996, Ross Perot warned about a country dooming itself to debt. He lost twice. Look at today's debate over health care reform. President Barack Obama's administration wants to do 2 things. First, insure the uninsured. Second, halt runaway medical bills. If we're going to cover more people with health care, that means we cannot continue to subsidize every form of health care for everybody. The president likes to talk about it as if we're only getting rid of the things we don't like, as if we could just take a cheaper blue pill instead of the more expensive red pill. Republicans, on the other hand, are hypocritical. They say they want to protect Medicare against the cost reforms that President Obama hopes can pay for universal coverage. They made their own efforts to rein in the entitlement program. Democrats are not going to tell us the hard choices that we must make. They are unwilling to talk candidly about the tough choices, rationing services, or increasing taxes needed to keep the country's healthcare system from imploding. Capitol Hill might yet produce something that will cover more people and work to put an end to your hospital's proverbial $10 aspirin tablet. But still, it is hard to imagine a reform that wouldn't trim Medicare benefits or come up with new taxes or dip into somebody's pocketbook. Americans are much more likely to go along with a change if the same people pushing reform are the ones talking candidly about the costs. Without that, Republican criticisms seem all the more damaging because they appear to be exposing dirty secrets about a plan that congressional Democrats are pushing. Or consider climate change, an issue that still is greeted with great skepticism in some quarters. The path to a solution may not mean us shivering in the dark. Still, we might have to settle for smaller cars and smaller houses, not to hop on airliners, or to hop on airliners far less, and to miss some of our affordable fresh produce in the winter. Yes, that will mean sacrifices. The Obama White House has chosen not to push for a tax on carbon emissions, which many experts say could most directly curb the buildup of greenhouse gases. Instead, the administration favors a cap-and-trade system that will let the pollution of some be offset by the green behavior of others. We can allow climate change to wreak unnatural havoc and chaos, or we can create jobs utilizing low-carbon technologies to prevent its worst effects, Obama said in June. So, disaster or jobs? So to hear our chief executive talk, the choice is between disaster and more jobs. Which would you pick? Advocates for tackling global warming decisively prefer to talk about the dangers of inaction, much like those advocating a healthcare overhaul. Even some environmentalists say an effective campaign against climate change must acknowledge the short-term costs. Real climate change, will cost money. Yes, a lot of money. You can't have it without any other way. You can go too far in suggesting win-win solutions, said Frank Ackerman, an economist at Tufts University. Ackerman said he believes strongly that the greater cost to society would come with increasing economic and human losses to a more violent and unpredictable climate. Again, that the greater cost to society would come with increasing economic and human losses to a more violent and unpredictable climate if we do nothing. Make that sale and initial costs become easier to talk about, he said. Yes, real change does cost money. And how can you have something for nothing? No, that doesn't work too well. And something else is going on here. Something much bigger. Everything is connected. Everything that must change quickly or rapidly. And these are more signs, the end times. Transition days. The continuing transition is going on all around the world, day by day. And there are many signs.